we did hear a somewhat more realistic tone from the interim CEO about the prospects for maybe turning the company around in the short term. How did that land with you?
I think it's the right way to think about things, in the sense that Intel under Pat Gelsinger was consistently, being optimistic about where things were going to end up, and at the end of the day, that ended up disappointing investors. So you start off with a more realistic bar, and the hope is you're able to execute from there.
Realistic looks pretty painful, and the shares do drop on the back of all of this. No quick fixes, but what can be done in the interim when you get no news on a new CEO?
Yeah, so I think the big question is, what does Intel do from here? Under Pat, Intel's plan was, we're going to make Intel great again. So we're going to restore our fabs to competitiveness. That's going to bolster the entire operation. So now the real question is, when you bring in a new CEO, is that still the plan of record? Or rather, do you do what AMD did, try to split the business up, look more like a Broadcom or a Marvell, be a chip design house, spin the fab out? And I think until we get an answer to that, it's going to be hard to kind of figure out what the future looks like for Intel.
Matt, what is your timeline, nonetheless, for Intel to be able to close the gap with rivals in critical areas like server chips for all those data centers that we're starting to see built across the country?
Yeah, so there's two things to think about there. One is, where are they with their fabs? They've told us that 18A is going to ship second half of this year. So I think it's really important as to what those new chips look like. If those chips are competitive, that's a huge victory for Intel. Their struggles really started almost a decade ago when they missed their fab upgrades. So getting that right, I think would be a huge positive. But the next piece is, what we're seeing is a whole lot more consumption of AI chips. So whether it's NVIDIA or Broadcom or Marvell building for some of the large data centers, or AMD, their growth has come from the AI side. Intel they still really don't have a product. Gaudi disappointed. They just told us that their next product, Falcon Shores, is going to be more of a test product. So I think getting things right there is important, but we don't have a whole lot of insight into what exactly that roadmap's going to look like and how successful it's going to be.
Matt, in 30 seconds, they're planning to spend $20 billion on new plants. Will the administration be supporting this long term?
That is a great question. It seems like this administration goes from one place to another place, and you never quite know where it's going to go. So hopefully, for Intel's sake, they will, but I'm not going to guess what the Trump administration is going to do.